talk about your practicing. Many students, especially at the beginning and the intermediate levels, some advanced even, don't know how to make best use of their practice time because practicing is the secret sauce for getting where you want to go. Now, when you are practicing, I want you to think of it in stages. Now, you may have seen my practice guide that I've put on out there for you on the internet, and you can go to that for free. And maybe that's why you're here right now. If not, I'll put that in the link below for you. But I want you to think of this in stages. The first stage I want you to think about is your motivation. Sometimes it's just hard just to sit down to the piano and practice. You know, you've got a lot on your mind, you've been stressed, you've been thinking about things, maybe you've got, you know, financial things, family things, anything like that, and it's just going through your mind. And it's hard to sit down and get away from that to practice because you feel like when you're practicing, you're not paying attention to the important things. Think of practicing as one of the most important things that you can do for yourself because it's going to help you get centered. It's going to be like a meditation, and it's going to be something that you really do for yourself. Now, what I want you to do is when you try to get to the stage where you want to practice, notice those things. This is going to help your motivation. All right. You want to be able to take that mindset and understand how you can change that to do something good for yourself. And once you think about it as doing something good for yourself, then your attitude is going to change. You're going to be able to sit down at the piano. All right? So notice what you're thinking and feeling before you even sit down to practice. That can make a huge difference in what you're about to do. Then I want you to make an allotted time schedule and you budget or schedule that schedule. And don't overwhelm yourself. If you got 45 minutes, make a plan for that 45 minutes instead of just, I've got music on the piano and I need to practice. Oh, I need to practice this. Let me look at it. Da, 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 da. You practice that and you get somewhere. Oops, I made a mistake. I got to go back. And then suddenly you're out of time and you haven't practiced everything. That's an overwhelming experience, and that will make you not want to sit down and have the motivation to practice again. You're going to overwhelm yourself by doing that. Remember, learning is in stages. It's not something that you just accomplish once and all and it's done. It's a stage. You go by stages in learning. I want you to use my plan, use my guide, and also learn how to allot your time with the advice of a mentor or a coach or a teacher, because otherwise, you're not going to have any idea how to advance your technique, how to advance what you're working on. You're just learning notes, and that's all you're going to focus on. So, motivation, have a plan, know where you're going. The next thing I want you to do is to have some warm up exercises. Now, if you're a beginning or an intermediate student and you've just started learning scales, it's not really a good idea to use those as a warm up because you're still focusing on where is that thumb crossing over and under, or the third finger crossing over and the thumb going under. You're still working on that. Warm ups should be something that you do with ease and with comfort and without thinking a lot about it. But what you're focusing on in your warm up is you're getting rid of the stress from sitting down for your motivation. You're getting rid of that stress. You're getting rid of all of those thoughts, and you're focusing on what you're feeling when you're playing. So, if you're a beginner and you don't know really what you're doing yet, maybe just play on the black notes and feel what you're doing and touch the keys in different ways so that you feel how that piano reacts. I often recommend for anybody practicing when you get to a new piano or even the one that you're working on each time at your home or wherever you practice that you learn to understand what the piano feels like to play. And that means take a key, maybe just with one finger, learn how to feel that contact. Feel how that key bounces back from your finger. Even some good digital pianos will do this for you. If you have an inexpensive keyboard you bought for $100, that sort of thing, it's not going to do that. All right. But if you have a piano, a real piano, or a good digital keyboard, you're going to be able to feel the contact in the key so you know what kind of pressure it takes to play that key. So many people, when they're at the beginning and intermediate stages, they try to push through the keys. They're taking that anxiety and that stress and they're putting it into their playing. They're not learning how to play. They're learning what to play, right? Playing piano is more about what is more than just what to play. It's how to play. And that's what you're doing when you're practicing. Excuse me. So your warm up is so important when you're coming to practice. You want to feel like what those keys are against the tips of your fingers. If you're a beginner or intermediate player, you might want to make up your own warm up, and that could be fun to do for you as well. As long as you keep the same pattern, just make it up on your own and that you feel the fingers becoming independent. There will be exercises for you to practice to help you. What you're doing at this point is that you're feeling the keys. And that's so important. And it's important to make it fun. Advanced players, you know, you are the people that can use the scales for warm up because it's not just about speed and it's not just about how fast you can play something or how clean it sounds. It's the feeling of what you're doing. You want that looseness, that limberness of what you're playing. You want to be able to use the arms. Warm up is different for different levels of playing. All right. Even intermediate players, you can work on, if you're learning basic chords, you can work on arpeggios. This all becomes a warm up, and all you're doing is basically you're feeling what you're doing. You might even zone out a little bit while you're doing it, but you want to feel that touch as you're playing. That's what a warm up is about. It's getting you in the right place. Then play something you enjoy. If you're a beginner, I've got a piece right here that I like to have students use when they're practicing. Let's take a look at it. It's called bagpipe, and you'll notice in the left hand the notes just repeat. They don't move anywhere, and the right hand does a little moving. So this piece goes like this, and it's a great warm up. Much to it at all, something fun to play, something that you can feel the tempo and the rhythm of what you're doing, and you just have fun with it. That's a beginning warm up piece, so something fun that you're playing. Intermediate, advanced players, you'll know what you like to play. So play that as part of your practice time. You're learning piano because you want to have fun. Have fun. Take the pieces that you've already learned how to play because this is going to help you feel the control when you're playing. Then the next stage is so important when you're practicing. Practice something that's a challenge. All right? So when you practice something that's a challenge, and I'm going to look up something right here as a matter of fact, and let me look it up here, that you're going to work on something that you really have to focus on. And let me see here. So let me get to it. Hang on. Here we go. All right. I'm going to use, for instance, this piece right here. We've got Maple Leaf Rag by Joplin. Here we go. All right. So you're a more advanced player and you've just warmed up and you're trying to learn this piece, but it's overwhelming. You know, that's the challenge you need to work at in the middle of your practice session. And you don't want to take this and try working on the whole piece at once again. Small bites, all right? Small sections at a time. That's what will help you reach the long term goal. So when I am looking at this piece, oops, sorry, right here. When I'm looking here, I'm going to expand this for you a little bit. Okay. I'm noticing in my left hand, I have octaves. Say I've had a problem with playing octaves. I want to learn how to play octaves better. I'm going to take this left hand part of the piece and slow it down and practice with a relaxed feeling. And I'm only going to practice the first line of this music today. Maybe take 8 minutes to do it. And I'm just going to practice the left hand. And I'm feeling the distance. See how slowly I'm doing this? It may take you a little bit if you're an intermediate player to figure out where you're going. But what you're doing in your practice when you're working on the challenging music, see this distance I'm doing from here to here? That's what I'm practicing. I'm practicing the feeling of the octaves. So many students go, how do I play octaves? It hurts so much. I stretch my hands and I can't feel it. And you know, it just causes so much problems. Well, a good teacher will teach you how. It's in my classes that I teach, but I do it with a relaxed technique, approaching from above. See, this is part of what I'm practicing. So I'm practicing what I'm feeling. If you're doing that and you're feeling it correctly, you're already accomplishing something. Now, will it be the same when you go back tomorrow? Maybe not. And the reason for that is you might have all those stresses again that you're working out. Your mind might be in 100 different places. You want to do this again the next day until it becomes almost second nature to you. Then I'm going to take the right hand and do the same thing, but I see there's a lot of 16th notes there, and that can be overwhelming, so I'm going to slow those way down. I'm already noticing that this was about feeling the octave on the E flat. I might spend a little time doing that. And then when I feel comfortable, I'm going to put both hands together because that's going to be the big challenge. That little note is not so important right now. Huh, that's what I just played. It's repeated. I just discovered I played the same thing twice. So I've got that first line. That's the goal for the practice. Now, go back again tomorrow, go through the same steps, maybe do the same thing. Then, when you feel comfortable, pick up the tempo a little bit. Do not practice from what you hear in your head and try to uh, imitate that immediately. For instance, most people will hear this. They'll hear that and they'll have that tempo in their head, and that's what they want to practice at. And you're not going to get there because you're forcing yourself, and it's going to be anxiety producing and it's going to be tension producing. So, what you want to do is slow this down so that you feel the motions. That's how you take the middle of your practice and make it into something really good and fun and something that you're studying, and you can advance what you're doing. So after you do all of this and you worked on that, have some fun again. Maybe take a short exercise and just try some sight reading. You know, maybe, something very simple. Test how you're counting and looking ahead and staying on track. And then before you finish your practice session, play something fun again. Remember, the point is you want to have fun and you want to feel like you're getting somewhere. So play something fun again. All right, Gary, this sounds like a lot to put into a certain time frame. I only have a half hour or 45 minutes to practice that I've allotted, and that's fine. Just shorten your goals. Shorten those pieces that you're doing. Don't overplay the time that you're allotting. Make sure that you put the um, hard work in the middle of your practice time. It could be 5 to 10 minutes, and then everything else you plan around that. Use my practice guide to help you do that. I hope you found this session helpful. I break this down in my Piano with Ease course. I take each of these sections and I get more elaborate with them. And I might want to be you know, curious about what that is. And if you are, I do a class on, or I teach a class on how to focus your practicing, just like I did here, but it's focused on how to relieve stress in hand pain, arm pain, and there's three major secrets I teach to that. All you need to do is go to papagarymusic.com and you watch the video, and it's going to teach you three things that you can take away right today to help you in your playing. Hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for taking a listen, and I will see you in whatever lesson I publish next. Thanks so much. I'm Papa Gary Marks, and I will see you soon.